Did you hear the news? Nintendo confirmed that a live-action Legend of Zelda film is in the works. Interesting, but did you know this isn't the first live-action Zelda project? Back in 2008, Imagine Games Network, or IGN for short, debuted a very impressive trailer for an upcoming live-action Zelda movie, and the hype was immeasurable. It looked stellar. Up until this point in time, video game movies were a bit taboo, but this one looked different. It seemed actually accurate to the source material. There was just one problem. The date that trailer launched, it was April 1st.
You just got fooled.
Not everyone picked up on that right away at the time either. Some who watched it lived outside of the States and weren't familiar with our foolish holiday. Even some of those who do live here believed it to be more than just a prank. I specifically remember a kid I went to school with who was really excited, and he believed it was real. And we had to break it to him in art class, and it was just an April Fool's Day video. Fighting back tears, he asked, "Why would Nintendo do this to me?" And honestly, that's a fair point, but Nintendo had no involvement, unlike the newly announced live-action Zelda movie. This was paid for by IGN and directed by someone who used to make videos for Machinima. Besides this being one of the best April Fool's Day pranks ever, what would compel IGN to make this? Well, I have some theories about it, but before we get into it, I think we should just watch it. It's already weird making a video to talk about a trailer, especially a fake one. So, I think we're just gonna go ahead and watch the whole thing together. It's like 3 minutes long, so if you want to skip it, jump to this timestamp that's on screen.
I've got something special lined up today. I'm taking the harvest to Castletown Market. And you're coming with me. Now mind your manners and do what I say. Speak to no one. And for goodness sake, don't touch anything.
I've been waiting for you, Link. You've been kept safe, guarded by a secret race. For this very day, the kingdom of Hyrule will fall. Nothing can stop the evil which has crept inside these walls. I am too late. This is the Temple of Time. When these doors open again, it will be 7 years in the past. Find me again.
I welcome the hero of time.
Hero of time, face me.
Wow, that was pretty good. Personally, I find this trailer pretty hype. It leaves me curious and wanting more. Why is Link just able to walk up to the Triforce? Which Zelda game are they basing this on? It definitely feels like a mixture between Ocarina of Time and the retroactive, freshly released Twilight Princess. The attention to detail is pretty great too. Like during that boss fight montage featuring some classic battles that Link has taken part in. That's not how you fight King Dodongo, dude.
I can't wait to bomb some Dodongos!
Also, much like the games, Link never says a word the entire trailer. If this was real and not an April Fool's joke, I wonder if they would have kept it that way for its hypothetical runtime. The CG, props, costumes, and makeup look phenomenal. It looks above budget. Everyone who worked on it should be super proud of themselves. It's got this Peter Jackson-esque Lord of the Rings feel to it, which are some of my favorite movies, so I'm probably a little bit biased. But most importantly, it looks like The Legend of Zelda. I want to read the original IGN article that was written for this trailer. Even though it was authored in jest, I do believe there's a lot of truth to it. Few video game properties hold the cachet of The Legend of Zelda. As a film project, it's on the scale of The Lord of the Rings. Called it. But no one has tackled a live-action adaptation of the storied franchise, until today. Production company Rainfall Films has asked IGN to premiere the very first footage from their live-action Zelda film, a very literal adaptation of the magical epic. And, of course, we said yes! Much like the indie gem Cloverfield, this project has been shrouded in secrecy and details kept close to the vest. What we do know is the film is being written and directed by newcomer Sam Balcom. Going the route of Star Wars Episode 4, this production decided to cast all unknowns for the iconic roles. Casting unrecognizable people for this was the right move. I actually think it adds a lot to the believability and authenticity, especially after mentioning Star Wars 4: A New Hope. If you notice the credits in this trailer I showed earlier, Sam Balcom is credited as the director. I mentioned earlier that he had done some work for Machinima in the past, so I decided to surf the web over to his site to see what other projects he and his company, Rainfall Films, have been involved with. Rainfall Films, from what I can tell, works on major films and video games in their post-production phase, including audio work. According to Sam's IMDb page, it looks like his backlog consists of a few other video game fan movie adaptations he's been involved with. Besides this Zelda one, he worked on a Metroid short film, as well as a Kirby short film he made for Machinima back in 2012. If you know me, you know I'm a pretty big fan of the pink puffball, if you catch my drift. I'm a Kirboy, if you will. So when I saw the title Kirby's Dream House, I knew I was gonna have to watch it no matter what. I wasn't prepared for what I got myself into.
Warning! You're about to witness extreme acts of violence and terror committed by Kirby.
Besides the violence, his style reminds me of the original live-action Mario movie, and I mean that as a compliment. I love that movie. Your expectations are subverted, and although it relies on the source material, there is a clear deviation that makes this unique. Nowadays, you see a whole bunch of these cute mascot characters turned into horror demons as part of a joke, but it wasn't as oversaturated back in 2012 from what I remember, so I'm gonna be more forgiving, even though this particular genre isn't something I'm a huge fan of. You can tell that Sam, as well as his team, are very talented. I, for one, think it's awesome that they were able to turn their fun passion projects into a full-time career working in a field they were initially just fans of. Wouldn't it be crazy if Rainfall Films worked on post-production for the actual upcoming live-action Legend of Zelda movie? Could be full circle. Earlier in the video, I asked, besides this being one of the best April Fool's Day pranks ever, what would compel IGN to make this? And I said I had some theories, so let's talk about it. Back from 2004 to 2011 was the peak time to be an April Fool's culture enjoyer. Big companies, game developers, and publishers were having a lot of fun joking around with their fan bases. Honestly, Blizzard Entertainment was at the forefront of this trend, having some of the most popular and well-known April Fool's jokes. Some of their most beloved being Pandaren Express for when you're too busy gaming to order food, a two-headed ogre race being added into World of Warcraft that required you to play entirely co-op, with you controlling one head while a friend controls the other, which I think conceptually this should be explored in like a standalone indie game or something. And my favorite, Krabby, which was a parody of Clippy from Microsoft Word. This is a great way to engage with your player base in my opinion. What's even better is that hyped fans would actually look forward to Blizzard's April Fool's jokes.
Hey, just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
And I think IGN wanted to dip their toes into that foolish goodness. IGN had done some smaller pranks before, but this was their first large-scale attempt, and it worked out better than they could have expected, causing server-crashing traffic as clamoring fans tried to access their website in order to watch the video. This brought even more attention to the IGN brand, which I imagine was probably the goal. Back then, gaming journalism was treated as a less serious form of reporting, so this probably helped cement them as a big dog in that field. Their Legend of Zelda trailer is probably the biggest gaming-related internet-based April Fool's Day prank in my opinion, even eclipsing Blizzard's. It's iconic. We don't really get to see these big companies go out of their way to make these big-budget, well-thought-out April Fool's Day jokes anymore. The last major one that I can think of is the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, which I haven't played, but it looks pretty cool, and I'm glad that Sega is still willing to have fun with even their most popular IPs. I checked my old issues of Nintendo Power that came out in April, May, and June of 2008, and I can't find any reference to this infamous IGN trailer at all. I do remember the Nintendo Power forums blowing up that fateful day with speculation if it could be real, and others handing it to IGN for a jab well done. But as far as I can tell, Nintendo never referenced the trailer in any official capacity. One thing my old Nintendo Power magazines reminded me of though, was that The Legend of Zelda had just celebrated its 20th anniversary. So I imagine part of IGN and Sam's decision to make this was partially as a love letter to such an important franchise, and that love really shows through. You know, I really miss this era of video game fan movie adaptations. After rewatching the Zelda trailer, I decided I wanted to watch some other old fan-made video game movies and shorts, because I was feeling nostalgic. One of my favorites is this God of War indie movie trailer, which was made by some people from Continue, a YouTube channel I used to watch a bunch back in the day. There was also There Will Be Brawl in 2013, a grittier, darker, more volatile version of Smash Bros, which features Matt Mercer as Ganondorf, which he would later reprise in official capacity in The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It also features the sit-on-you guy from Tim and Eric as Captain Olimar, which is perfect casting. I also watched a Sonic fan film for the first time that has a scene where the robot from Sonic Adventure 1 is going to shoot the nostalgia critic execution style in the middle of the woods before Sonic shows up and saves the day. Looks like Mr. Balcom couldn't get any internet celebrities to be in his Kirby movie, although he did get a Linkara impersonator.
I am a man!
If you want to check any of these out, including the live-action Zelda teaser trailer again, I have links to them all down in the description. The website Kotaku runs a list of April Fool's Day pranks being done in various pop culture mediums, and it looks like they have articles that go back quite a few years. I decided to check out the one from 2023, which is where I initially learned about that Sonic murder game. April Fool's Day culture is so much different now. Compare the Legend of Zelda trailer to what they did for their April Fool's Day joke in 2023.
Great news, Nintendo fans! The Super Mario Bros. Movie has arrived. The all-star voice actors from the feature film are coming to all your favorite Nintendo games through Nintendo Switch Online.
Mushroom Kingdom, here we come! Where am I? Stick with the crossway while we got
You probably shouldn't laugh anymore.
To me, this feels like it has a I have to get my project done that's due tomorrow vibe to it. Trust me, I'm an expert in being in that situation. Obviously, I'm not suggesting that IGN make big budget April Fool's jokes every year. I don't even know if they could afford that anymore. But I am asking that they break out that bottle of creativity juice they were drinking back in 2008 so we can get more cool stuff again. So where does this put us now? Well, I think IGN, intentionally or not, gauged the public's interest in a Legend of Zelda movie. And at the time, it was very well received. Fans of the series honestly wanted a live-action Zelda movie. It just took Nintendo 15 years to announce that it will actually happen. Even watching it now, all these years later, I still think it looks pretty great. And yeah, it does make me a little wary about the real live-action Zelda movie. But I'm gonna hold my reservations until I see some footage or concept art or set pictures. There was a lot of disappointment in the initial lead-up to that Mario movie, but once it hit theaters, it set box office records, and people of all ages and backgrounds seemed to really love it. One thing I think Nintendo could learn from this whole thing is how they should approach their own interpretation. In the article IGN wrote for the prank, they talk about how the movie cast is all unrecognizable, and I for one think that's how the real movie should be handled, instead of filling it to the brim with already existing talent. Instead of focusing on who is playing Link, we can focus on watching Link go through adventures without predetermined expectations. Tone is also going to be very important, and I think that's something that IGN, Sam, and his team captured perfectly. It takes itself seriously, but not too much, without losing that unique charm the Legend of Zelda series is known for. Let's be real though, the official one should have been an animated Ghibli movie. Thank you so much for watching. I do have another Zelda related video if you'd like to check that out, as well as a whole bunch of other videos about not Zelda stuff. I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I did making it, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe for future content. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the live-action Legend of Zelda movie. See you in the next one!